And before we start moving around, we're just going to take some time to tune in to how we're feeling today and our breath as well. So we'll just start by scanning over the body and noticing how you're breathing naturally. So let's just see how the front of the feet are feeling, and the lower legs, the knees, the thighs, the hips, so all the way up the spine, shoulders, down the arms, maybe the forehead or the head that's on the floor. How you feel as one, so you're feeling quite energetic, quite sleepy, ready to move. So just noticing, and then notice how you're breathing naturally as well. So you're breathing quite deeply, quite slowly, quite shallow. Do you notice more movement in the belly or the chest, or so just noticing, maybe linking the two as well to how you're feeling and how you're breathing. And also where your mind is as well. So you're quite focused and in this moment, or are you thinking, oh, how much longer are we going to be lying on our front, or whatever it is. Just noticing how you're feeling, the thoughts that are in your mind, how you're breathing. And then we're going to start to deepen our breath or slow it right down. So just breathe in and out through the nose throughout if we can. We'll take a slow breath in through the nose. Just feel your body kind of pressing deeper into the floor as you fill it with air. And then exhaling again, just slowly back out through the nose. And just in your own time, we're going to do another 3 really slow breaths. So really slow breath in. And then a full breath back out. So a couple more. And then continue to just breathe nice and slowly. And throughout the class, we want to see if we can avoid any pain. So we might feel our muscles working or that, but in our body, we don't want to feel anything that feels wrong, like tingling or numbness or sharp pain or any kind of pain that's not right. So if there is anything that doesn't feel right, just stop, come out of the posture, wiggle around in the posture so you find maybe a better place, but I want to make sure that everything's feeling right for you. And there's always plenty of options for everybody. So if we can stay as connected to our breathing as we can as well throughout. And see if we can keep trying to calm it and slow it down. So as it gets a bit more energetic, if I do go, if we're breathing per movement and that's a bit quick for you, just slow it down and go at your own pace. Or speed it up if you need to. Okay, so on the next breath in then, we'll just bring our hands. So we'll bring our right arm out to the right and make an L shape and just walk it over. Try and walk the shoulder over as far as you can, kind of creep it to the right. And then just see how the right arm feels, the right shoulder. If you're not getting much of a stretch there, we'll bring our left hand by our left shoulder and just slowly roll over onto that right arm. So our right arm staying where it is, just going to lean our hips, so going to different angle. Just going to roll slightly more onto that right arm. So the intention is to get a stretch in the right shoulder, right chest. So it may be a little lean on it, you may be going a bit further, you may be kicking that left leg more and more behind you. So you're twisting more and more. So whatever you're feeling, see if you can keep the shoulder right on the ground as well. Just try and keep the chest, shoulder flat. That's it. And then just lean into it until you feel a little bit of a stretch there. So you might need to keep the hips pretty level. They may roll, that left one may roll up a little bit, that's it. So anyway, you're feeling that stretch in that right arm. And we just stay in there, taking some nice deep breaths. That's it. Yeah, nice. Head where it's comfortable, so you can keep it on the floor. You can make a pillow with the left hand. Remember, any pins and needles or anything, make sure we come off the arm. So just a couple more breaths. And on the next exhale, then we'll roll back over onto our front, and then we'll slide the left knee out to the left. So like an L shape, like the right arm is doing, the leg's doing. So the knees along your sides and the foot's out. And then we'll just bring our hands in towards our shoulders. Give the shoulders a little shimmy and just take an inhale to prepare. And then on the exhale, we'll start to lift the chest up a little bit. So it might be just a tiny bit off the floor. You might be squeezing the elbows in, coming into like a Sphinx pose. Propping yourself up, just see how your left hip's feeling. So if anyone's finding that's too much or pinchy, just slide the left leg back behind you. If the knee's uncomfortable, we can pad that up. If the lower back is finding this like a pinch or too much, just slide the arms forward and drop the chest, and that'll lessen the back bend. So intention here, you might get a stretch in the inner thigh, the left side. You might get a stretch in the front body, nice compression in the left lower back or lower back there, but no pain. If anyone wants to go a little bit deeper, we can lift the elbows, so we're in like a Sphinx, a seal. Otherwise, just keep the elbows down. So whatever you feel feels good in your body. And again, we're just going to hold for a few breaths. So you can be quite active through the arms if you want by pushing down the forearms into the floor and drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. Or you can be more relaxed, yin-like, and just let the chest kind of drop in between the arms. And the arms are more like props. So it's up to you if you want to really push through the arms, draw the shoulders back and down, squeeze the elbows towards each other, almost strong in the arms or passing. Okay, so another breath in there. And then exhale, we'll just slowly lower ourselves back down onto our front. And then we'll slide the left leg back in behind us. And then straighten the left leg. Try and press into the right leg and just start to lift the left leg up in the air. So the left leg raised there. So an inhale. And then on the exhale, just hover the left leg down towards the floor. So you can flex or point the foot. Inhale, we'll lift the left leg up again. So see if you can avoid any twisting, just lifting that left leg directly up. And then exhale as we just lower the left leg towards the floor. So just left leg, inhale again. We'll lift the left leg. See if you can reach the left foot to the back of the room. So keep pushing into the right leg or hips. And then exhale as you sink down. And then last one, we're going to hold left leg up. Inhale, lift the left leg. And then exhale, we'll just stay upper body where it's comfortable. So you can rest your head. You can have it turned to one side and relax the shoulders. Keep holding that left leg in the air. So keep the left leg as strong. So instead of bending the left knee, so you can keep working to straighten the left knee, engaging the quads. Really reaching the left foot back. Keep leveling off the hips there. So notice if you're twisting on that. Keep breathing as well. You can engage your abdominals here and focus on expanding the rib cage instead of the belly. Another breath in. And then exhale, let's lower the left leg down. Just give the hips a rock from side to side. So you're going to repeat all that now for the other side. So just bring the left arm to the left, make an L shape. So the left arm's leaning over. Crawl it as far over as you can. Try and keep the shoulder on the floor. Just take a breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to roll over onto the left arm wherever the amount that gives you a stretch. So it might be a little bit you're leaning on it. You might be having to roll the right hip more on the left. Keep the right leg more behind you. So just go to the point where you feel the stretch in that left chest, shoulder. Head then, you can rest on the floor on your right hand. And just keep adjusting yourself. That's it. Nice deep breaths there. Nice and easy start. Just really seeing what you're feeling on this side as well. So one side may be a bit different from the other. Just again, rather than trying to match both sides, just keep moving to what feels good. So another inhale there. And then exhale, we'll just slowly roll back over onto our front and we'll slide the right leg over to the right, making an L shape with the right leg when we roll onto our front. Now the right leg's doing what the left arm is doing kind of. And just check how the right hip's feeling. We can bring the hands underneath us, give us the shoulders a shimmy, and then start to lift ourselves up into either a Sphinx again or a little low Sphinx, so lifting the chest, and then we can prop ourselves up. So easier, we're lower to the floor, more of a back bend than when we lift our chest. You can always lift up onto the hands as well if you're not really feeling a lot there. So again, just checking how everything's feeling. Intention, maybe that right inner thigh. You might not get a stretch. I don't get much of a stretch there, but that might be one of the main areas. Maybe the front body's getting a nice stretch. or it may just be like gentle compression in the lower back or right side, right back. So head, so again, if you want to be active through the arms or more passive, you can, if you fancy more of a exercise physical, you can push the floor away with the forearms, you can draw the shoulders down away from the ears, might want to tuck the chin slightly and support the neck, or be more relaxed, let the head kind of hang, whatever you feel that you want out of the class today. So another breath in, and then on the exhale just lower yourself back down so you're on your front. You make a pillow with the hands, slide the right leg behind you and then up in the air. So right leg raises, so inhale, and then exhale, just hover the right leg towards the floor. So just 3 more, inhale, let's lift the right leg, so right leg's working there against gravity. So glutes back as well, exhale as we sink it down. So 2 more, inhale, lift the right leg straight up, reach the right foot behind you. And then exhale. And then final time then, holding the right leg in the air, inhale, and then exhale, just staying still. Just continue to breathe, just notice how the weight is through the hips there. So you can keep leveling rather than lifting or twisting. You can be active in the left leg if you like, you can push the left foot into the floor, you need to lift the left kneecap, whilst keeping that right leg lifted. Squeezing your glutes so you can find more ease and see if you can hold the leg with less effort. So you draw your bellies in and up, engage your abdominals or your deep corset. So there's another breath in, and then exhale, let's lower the right leg down towards the floor and give your hips a little shimmy from side to side. So we'll either press up onto our knees, or if we feel we just want to press straight into plank, full push-up, up to you. So we'll either tuck the toes under, we'll either keep the knees on the floor or lift the knees. Just take a breath in to prepare. And I really keep your body like a plank as we press ourselves up into a push-up position. Okay, and then from here we're going to soften the knees a little bit so they kind of just dangle towards the floor. Start to push the floor away with the hands and start to lift the hips up into downward facing dog. So just take your time pressing back into the legs. You might need to keep the knees quite soft and just see how the backs of the legs, you can push one heel down and then the other. Notice how the shoulders are feeling. So just, you don't want any pinching pain in the shoulders. Be strong through the arms here. Try and lengthen the spine as much as possible. So you can even do little cat-cows or pelvic tilts in your down dog so you can feel how you're gently holding your spine. Keep spreading the weight nicely through the hands. And spread the fingers. Imagine you've got a pea underneath the palm, you can not crush it. Keep lifting the arch. So just keep your left foot on the floor. You're going to stretch the back of it a little bit deeper. Inhale, let's reach the right leg behind you, like we do with those right leg raises, and just straight up in the air. And then see if you can rock the right hip more level. So we tend to open up to the right, so we can maybe drop the right hip down or lift the left hip up. And keep pushing back into that left leg, so keeping our hips as level like we did with those straight leg raises lying on our front. So another inhale there. And now we're going to add the twist in. So like we did lying on our front with the chest stretch, just bend the right knee and start to roll the right hip more on top of the left. So twisting to the side there. Keep pushing back into the hands, into that left heel. Okay, so inhale then, well, let's level ourselves back out. And then exhale, let's take a big step forward with the right foot. So lunge it forward, and just, if it doesn't quite get there, we can reach for it with the right hand and just bring it forward there with the hands, okay? So soften the back knee, breathe in, so bend the back knee. So feet are about hip width, push down into your right foot. Breathe out, let's slowly unravel now up to standing lunge. Okay, so when we get to the top, let's bend the elbows, and then inhale, reach the arms upwards towards the ceiling. And we're just gonna hold still and lunge before we add some movement in. So if you find it quite unstable, we can always go more wider with a stance rather than on a tight rope. And you might want to play around with lengthening the tailbone down or drawing the hip points towards the ribs. Try and get your body as upright as possible. And you can work the back leg straight, but if that tugs your hips forward, and then to be upright, you're compressing a lot in the lower spine and it's not comfortable. Just soften the back knee more and focus on that instead. So really strong in the legs here. Keep bending the right knee and keep that right leg sinking more parallel to the floor if you want to go a little bit more intense. And then on the exhale, we're coming into warrior two, so two strong quad, two strong leg stretches. So open out the arms, drop the left heel down, and allow that left hip to open, but keeping that front leg the same as that high lunge. So our bodies are nice and upright, spine's nice and long, we're still drawing the hip points towards the ribs, we're still engaging, reaching the arms apart. So you can keep spreading the weight nicely through the feet as well. So we're going to move in and out of those 4 times, and then we'll relax the legs then. So on the next inhale, we're going to pivot onto our left tiptoe and swoop the arms upwards towards the ceiling. So see, we can balance. You can soften the back knee, so you can just coming back into those nice strong postures. And then exhale, let's open the hands back out into our warrior two, pivoting onto that back heel. Try and keep the front leg the same. Again, inhale as we reach back up into our high lunge. You might want to bend the back knee, try and keep everything braced and tight, core solid. And then exhale, let's open out into warrior two. Hopefully our legs are warming up quite nicely. So again, inhale as we pivot onto our back tiptoe, spin into a high lunge. And then exhale as we open into warrior two. Last one, and we'll be straightening the leg. Inhale as we pivot, nice and strong. And then exhale as we open into warrior two. Let's push into your right foot. Inhale, let's straighten the right leg. So we're just giving a bit of relief. And then we'll bring our hands behind us and interlace the hands. Squeeze the shoulders together and just take a breath in. On the exhale, let's turn the right foot in so you're in a wide leg forward bend position. You can any position with the feet is comfortable. And then on the exhale, we might want to soften the knees or start to hinge forward from the hips and start to fold towards the legs. So you get a nice stretch for the hamstrings, inner thighs. Just take your time coming into it. This is the first quite big stretch of the day. And then just take your hands, take your time to reach the arms more behind you overhead. If anyone's shoulders are not liking this position, just have the arms dangling or a different arm position there. So you can be, again, quite passive, like yin-like, and keep quite soft here, just softening the knees, releasing, relaxing. Or you can be quite active through the legs, keep grounded through the feet. You can engage your quads here, you can widen through your sit bones, really press the feet down into the floor. Keep using your core to bring your body through the legs, and then keep working to reach the arms over. Again, just to a nice amount, not the maximal. Okay, so let's undo the hands, let's push into the floor, lift your body away from the floor a little, inhale. And then exhale, walk yourself back round over that right foot. And then we'll step backwards where we started into our downward facing dog. So stepping back, pressing into the heels. From here then we're going to inhale, lift our hips and roll ourselves forward into a plank or a kneeling plank. On the exhale, scoot the elbows in, lower yourself down onto your front. When you're there, untuck the toes, inhale, lift the chest for either a cobra or an up dog if you know it. And then we're back into down dog. So add the extra push-up. So exhale, let's lower ourselves back down. Inhale, tuck the toes, lift back up into your plank. Keep lifting the hips high and then press backwards into downward facing dog. So let's just pedal out there, just take a moment before we do the other side. So as inhale, lift the left leg nice and high. So first of all, you're going to keep the hips level. So just keep pushing back into that right leg, keep pushing back into the hands. Keep almost squeezing the inner thighs together almost, or leveling. Notice if you're hiking one hip or the other, or rolling that left hip on the right. See if you can level them out. You're reaching that left foot to the back of the room. And then let's start to turn the hips now. So let's start to bend the left knee and start to roll the left knee more on top of the right, or roll the left hip more on top of the right, like the scorpion twist we did on our front. Keep pushing back into the hands. Just notice the change in stretch from having the hips level to hips open there. How's that right inner thigh feel, or hamstrings compared to, a bit more for the inner as you split the legs more, or add this open stretch there. Inhale, level back out. Exhale, lunge the left foot to the inside of the left hand. Okay, nice. Bend the right knee, inhale. Exhale as we unravel ourselves nice and slowly up to a high lunge. Bend the elbows and then inhale, reach the arms upwards towards the ceiling. Okay, so we're just holding the first one so we can get a good, nice posture. Looking good, so you can soften the back knee a little bit, you can focus on drawing the hip points towards the ribs. You might want to slide your right foot further away from the left so your feet are more split. I'm going to go a little bit easier there. And keep it, so the arms as well, if they're uncomfortable and they're getting tired and you'd rather not work, and you can just bring them on your hips, always comfortable. Okay, let's open into warrior two, dropping the right heel down, open out the hands, that right hip opens more to the side, keeping that left leg the same there. Okay, and so just noticing what you're doing with that left leg ankle. So try and keep that ankle nice and neutral, and the feet, the weight spread nicely through the feet there. So it's strong in the thighs, so you can scoot that left outer hip under. You're pulling the hands apart. So there you go, I can see you. Drop your shoulders down. Okay, so we're going to move in and out of the two, and then we'll give the legs a little rest. Inhale in, let's come onto our back tiptoe. Just drop your right hand down and then upwards into high lunge. And then exhale, we'll open out into a warrior two. So drop the right heel back down, open the hands back out, that's it. So 3 more. Inhale as we keep that front leg still, just reach, come onto your back tiptoe, hips forward. And then exhale, let's open the hips out to the side. So again, inhale as we swivel into high lunge, just go your own breathing pace. Exhale as we land the right heel down, open into warrior two, keep bracing the whole time. Last one, then inhale into high lunge, get really strong in the legs. And then exhale, let's open out into your warrior two. Let's push into your left foot. Inhale, let's straighten the left leg, give it a bit of relief. Interlace the hands the unusual way behind the back, so it's just one finger grip over. Squeeze the shoulders together or reach the hands behind you, breathe in. And next, turn the toes so we're in a wide leg forward bend position. You might even want to pigeon them in a bit more or out. What feels good for the hips now as you exhale, let's fold towards the legs. So same as before, you might go a little bit deeper this time round. So you can play around with keeping the weight more central rather than leaning into the heels. Just slowing your breathing back down. Notice how your heart rate is. It might be a little elevated, might not be, might not have done enough yet. Is your body temperature, you feel a little warmer? Are you still connecting with your breath? Okay, so slowly undo the hands. Inhale, just lift yourself away from the legs a little bit. And then exhale, let's walk ourselves back round so we're facing the left foot, and then we're stepping back into downward facing dog. So as inhale, let's lift the hips and ripple ourselves forward into plank. We're going to scoot the elbows in, exhale, lower down for cobra or up dog. Inhale, lift the chest, cobra up dog. We're going to stay on our front. So exhale, just lower yourself back down onto your front where we started. And then just make a pillow with our hands for our head again. Okay, so round one. Okay, so we're straightening the right arm out to the right. So the first time you had the right arm bent like an L, this time we're just going to reach the right arm out so it's the hands pretty much in line with the shoulder. So doing exactly the same as what we did the other side. This side will be less for the chest, down this stretch. So left hand by your left shoulder, inhale, exhale, we might take a bigger twist. That left foot may reach further around towards the right hand. Otherwise, just check on your spine as well. So if your lower back's not liking that's too much of a back bend, just keep the left leg more towards the right leg and then just roll the hips more up or left hip more behind you. Otherwise, go for the back bend if you want a bit more for the front of the body stretching. And then the left hand can make a pillow, or you can even bring the left hand behind the back to stretch the chest even further, almost like a bow in a way here. Otherwise, if that's too intense, just bring the left hand back down. So you can just let the left elbow bend and the hand just rest behind you, or just keep it, or reach it behind it, wherever's nice, wherever it feels good. Okay, so another inhale. On the exhale, let's roll ourselves back over onto our front. So let's bring our left hand back, let's slide the left knee open to the left, like we did earlier. So left knee, you might even straighten the left leg to the left now as well. And that will give you a bit more for the inner thigh, I find. Otherwise, keep the knee bent. And then we'll prop ourselves back up into your Sphinx with onto the forearms, or seal onto the hands. So if this is too much for your hip or anything in the thigh, go back to bent or swing the leg back behind you. Okay, so we're going to come into half locust, or do another shoulder stretch I think first, because they're really nice while we're here, stretch all the shoulders. Oh no, we'll save that. We're coming into half locust next. So like we did with those single leg raises with the left leg's going to lift up in the air behind us. We're going to bend the right knee and well, I'll show you down. So another inhale. On the exhale then we'll slowly lower back down. Bend the right knee, so the right foot points up to the ceiling. Hands underneath the shoulders. like you're going to do with a cobra, but the chest stays low. Lift the left leg up in the air, and then see if you can lift the left hip off the floor, pushing into the right knee. If this is too much of a back bend, just lower the left leg or come lower to the ground. And if you want to make it easier, you can use your right foot as a prop to rest your left leg on. Otherwise, just keep the legs away from each other, and then you have to work more. If your weight is in the chest, then the hands it doesn't matter really what we're doing with the arms, they're not taking any weight. But if you do want to be active through the arms, you can roll the shoulders back and down, you can scoop the elbows in and gently press a little bit into the hands. Chin, head where it's comfortable. Again, that can be completely off the floor, or you can rest the chin down, maybe even lengthen the front of the neck. Another inhale there is quite strong close to hold. Exhale, let's control everything back down. So we've always got the first options if we need them as well, if that felt too much. So let's bring your left arm now to the left, and we'll go for a straight left arm. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, let's scorpion that right leg behind us towards the left hand. And then we can stay there with the right arm, make a pillow, and adjust the legs so you're getting a good stretch in your body. We can reach the right arm up or behind us, even bending the elbow, resting the left hand on your lower back, the back of the hand. You can squeeze the shoulders together more. And head, if it's kind of dangling and uncomfortable, a wedge in a block or a pillow underneath it would be nice. Otherwise, just rest on the floor. So a nice slow breath. Okay, so another breath in then. Exhale, let's slowly roll over onto our front and slide our right leg out to the right, maybe going for a straight right leg this time. And wiggle it across, and then we'll slide the arms in. So inhale, we can prop ourselves up into a sphinx again on the elbows or higher into seal. So just back bending, maybe a bit more for the inner thigh there. You can play around with that right foot position. So you can be strong in the arms if you like. You can drop the shoulders, maybe tuck the chin in, lift the crown of the head up off the shoulders. You wrap the triceps under. Okay, and then slowly lowering down for locust. Exhale. So hands then under the shoulders, so slide the right leg around and behind and up, bend the left knee, push into the left leg too, and see if you can lift both feet upwards towards the ceiling. So you can rest the chin on the floor, the side of the head. You can be active, strong, pushing through the arms a little. You can even rest the right leg on top of the left foot if we need to as well. So our back body's working quite a lot here, glutes, so the raised leg. If you're pushing through the arms. Keep bracing as well, drawing your belly in. You don't want any pain in the back at all. Nice strong posture. Another inhale then, and then exhale, let's control everything back down. Giving the hips a little wiggle. It's going to take another push-up, so either a knee-in push-up or a full push-up when you're ready. Inhale, exhale, let's brace, draw your belly in, lift into your plank. And again, into downward facing dog, lift the hips high, and let's pedal out the legs there. Or if you want to swivel or twist or sway from side to side, just feel free to explore down dog your own way. Okay, so when you're ready, let's inhale, reach the right leg up in the air behind. Down dog split. Exhale, let's bend the right knee and start to turn the hip open to the side. Now if anyone's a little bit more challenged, we're going to have a go, again, less weight on the left hand. Less weight on the right hand, more weight on the left hand. We're going to turn the left foot round, wild thing. We'll land the right foot to the outside of the left and then lift the hips upwards and the right hand overhead, so we're back bending there. Otherwise, so the right foot lands on the floor behind the left leg. Otherwise, just keep down dog split, that's it. And then drive the hips upwards. Really lift out that left shoulder. Come back anytime you need to, it feels too much there. Okay, whenever we're ready to, then we're going to brace a lot, draw your belly in. Exhale, let's sink the hips down a little bit. Let's push into the hands, that left foot. And then we'll lunge the right foot back forward to the inside of the right hand. So we're coming back into that low lunge. Okay, so let's bend the left knee, inhale. Breathe out, let's roll into high lunge like we did earlier. Inhale, let's reach the hands upwards towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, let's bring the right hand behind our back, into our lower back. And then left arm overhead and lean to the right. So we're side bending. Let me move further back so you can see a little bit more. So we're kind of leaning towards that right leg. We're going to try and keep the right leg the same, rather than letting that kind of twist out. So right leg staying like lunge, but we'll just add in a lean, increasing the stretch maybe in this left open side. So first one we're going to hold, and then we're going to add movement. Okay, weight spread nicely for that right foot. Inhale, let's really brace. Let's bring ourselves back up to centre. Exhale, let's open out into warrior two. Drop your left heel down, open the hands out. So now we're going to bring our left hand behind our back. So left wrist, that's it. And now we're going to reverse warrior. Reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. And maybe take more of a side bend or a bit of a back bend too. Leaning over behind you, reaching the right hand behind you. Keep bending that right knee as well, so the legs are staying the same and strong, really strong, that right thigh. If anyone's low back down liking this, just stay upright, can stay in the warrior two, or not worry about this. Okay, ready to move it in and out 3 more times, and we'll shake off the legs, or 4 more times. Inhale, really prepare, and exhale, let's swivel back round onto our tiptoe, right hand's coming behind our back, left arm's now swooping overhead as we lean to the left. Okay, so we're coming forward and backwards. And then exhale, left hand behind our back, right arm swooping overhead, drop your left heel down into your warrior. So the same legs as we did the first time, just the arms to swoop in one way and then the other. So on the inhale, let's bring our right hand behind our back, left arm reaches up and over as we spin onto our back tiptoe. That makes good sense. And then exhale, left hand behind our back, right arm's going to swoop overhead as we drop our left heel on the floor. Let's do one more. Inhale, right hand behind our back, on our back to left tiptoe, left arm overhead, lunge with a side bend, and then exhale, warrior two with reverse warrior two, right arm overhead. So as inhale, let's open out the hands and let's put into warrior two, push into your right foot, straighten the right leg, give relief for that right leg. And then we'll bring the palms together behind us into a prayer position. So we'll bring the fingertips together. I'll show you from low. Bring the fingertips and then just slide the fingers up towards the head and then close the palms to get more stretch in the chest. Otherwise, if our shoulders don't like this, interlace the hands. If our wrists don't like this, interlace the hands instead, or any other. Then we'll turn the feet back in for our wide leg forward bend. So turn the toes, we're facing the long edge of the mat. And then on the exhale, then we're going to tip ourselves back into our fold. So keep bracing as we tip. You might want to bend the knees or roll down. If anyone wants to, if it gets too much for the shoulders, just come back up or undo the hands. And keep closing the palms. Keep bringing yourself more and more in there. It's quite a big stretch, I find. Keep trying to lift the elbows or squeeze the elbows together. Okay, so undo the hands. Inhale, let's lift ourselves away from the legs a little. And then exhale, let's walk ourselves back around over the right foot and step back into downward facing dog. Okay, so I don't think we need the blocks. So we'll take a vinyasa. Inhale, lift your hips and ripple forward into plank. Exhale, squeeze the elbows in, lower down for cobra or an up dog. Inhale, cobra or up dog. So lift the chest and then exhale. Let's add the push up if you want to, or straight back from there. Let's lift the hips back into downward facing dog. So let's keep your right foot on the floor. Inhale, lift the left leg straight up. Exhale, bend the left knee and start to turn the left hip more on top of the right. We can shift the weight onto the right hand, get less on the left hand. Maybe turn the right foot so we're on the little toe side of it, so we land the left foot to the outside of the right leg. And then left arm's in the air as well there, lifting out the hips, left arm overhead. So otherwise stay with down dog split. So we're resting the left foot on the floor, that's it. Scooping the hips up. Okay. So really arching the spine there, nice back bend. When you're ready to move over, we're gonna start to brace, start to lift the left foot. We'll spin ourselves back around, keep bracing. And then we'll lunge the left foot to the inside of the left hand. Okay, we'll bend the right knee, inhale, breathe out, let's roll up to our standing high lunge. And then inhale, we're in our standing high lunge with the left foot forward. And then exhale, left hand's coming behind the back and the right arm's reaching overhead. We're leaning to the left, so we're side bending to the left. So just think about all the principles in that the first high lunge. You might want to bend the back knee a little bit. You might want to draw your ribs towards the hip points. You might want to try and keep your spine nice and long, and then add that side bend. Notice how you're holding your hips, how you're holding the legs. You're bracing that arm. Inhale, let's pull ourselves back up, both arms up, and then exhale, drop your right heel down into your warrior two. Right hand's coming behind the back, and now the left arm is reaching up towards the ceiling and then overhead behind, reverse warrior. So this one I used to not feel great for my lower back. So if you just try and wiggle around a little bit. If anything's not feeling quite right, just find a position that feels better for you. I find if I side bend more rather than back bend more, it feels a lot nicer. So it might be turning the chest more to the long edge of the mat, adding that reach. You just play around, and so you feel a nice maybe stretching that front left side. And the legs might really feel in this as well. Inhale, let's come back into warrior two. And then exhale, high lunge. So left hand's coming behind the back, right arm's swooping up into high lunge, and then overhead as we side bend. So if we switched foot last time, you might want to switch feet, otherwise you're just going to keep switching the arms and the legs stay exactly the same. So on the exhale, right hand's coming behind the back. We're coming into the warrior two legs with the left arm overhead, reverse warrior. And then exhale, I'm losing the breathing, just keep breathing. Let's do the other way. So we can inhale one way, exhale the other. So high lunge with a side bend. Exhale then, warrior two with a back bend or side bend. And then inhale, lunge with a side bend. So you just spin onto that back tiptoe and then land in the heel each time. So last one or two more. Exhale, hand behind the back, switch over. And then I think this is the last one in there. Left hand behind the back, right hand's up overhead. So you can keep that left knee bent over the ankle the whole time. Let's really work the legs. Okay, last time then, right hand staying behind the back. Left arm's reaching upwards towards the ceiling. So your reverse warrior. And then inhale, let's open the hands out into warrior two and straighten out the left leg. So the left legs, both legs are now straight. Let's have one more go at reverse prayer hands. So let's come on to bring our fingertips behind our back. And then just point the fingers up towards the back of the head, slide the fingers up the back towards the head, close the palms, squeeze the elbows together. Turn the feet now, so we're in our wide leg forward fold, last wide leg forward fold. You might need to hop the heels more in line as well there. And then exhale as we start to fold towards them, otherwise any wide leg fold. Anyway, you get a nice stretch of the inner thighs, hamstrings and shoulders, chest. Just slow your breathing down. Okay, so just let go of the hands, undo the hands. Inhale, let's lift yourself away from the legs. And then exhale, swivel back round over the left foot. And step backwards into downward facing dog. So just come back forward into plank on the inhale. Exhale, lower down for your cobras. Inhale for cobra. And then lying on your front again. Exhale, let's roll back down. Let's make a pillow with our hands and give our hips a little rock from side to side. And again, just notice how we're feeling. So slide both knees now out to the both wide, and then bring the feet towards each other. So we're having a go at and then once the soles of feet towards each other, knees are open, we're going to start to draw the feet down towards the floor until you start feeling a stretch for the inner thighs. They might not go very far, some of this might be on the floor completely. So it doesn't matter how far they go, just see how the groin area, inner thighs, you might not get much of a stretch, you might be feeling this quite a bit. Relaxing the head if you like, or upper body. There is an option to add in like a foot to head or cobra with my feet nowhere near my head, but it's that kind of action of lifting, getting a nice back bend, stretching the front body, maybe front of the neck too. So if you do fancy it, a bit of strength through the arms, so you can bring the hands in under the shoulders, just take a breath in, press into the hips, and then breathe out. Let's lift the chest up, keeping the legs the same pretty much. And then keep drawing the shoulders down, keep scooping the elbows in, maybe reaching the feet towards the head. Again, make sure the hips are feeling okay with this, the lower back. So, okay. When we're ready, I find a nice stretch to the inner thighs. When you're ready, you'll just lower yourself back down onto your front. And then we'll straighten the legs out, and so we're lying on our front. So you can keep the shoulders underneath you can make a pillow, hands can even come by your sides this time. We're coming into full locust. We're pressing the hips down into the floor. Inhale, prepare. We're going to exhale, lift both legs up in the air. So exhale, both legs are lifting. They might not feel like they lift much at all. We just lift both legs straight in the air. And then exhale. Yeah, it's hard to feel. I'm not sure what happened there facing the other way. So again, inhale, prepare. Exhale, we can lift both legs up in the air. So see if we can keep the legs straight, the knees from bending. And then exhale, inhale, we can rest. Let's do 2 more. Exhale, we can lift up. So draw your belly in on the exhale, keep reaching the legs up. Feel the legs strong. Back muscles working nicely. Inhale, rest. And then 1 more. Exhale, we're going to lift both legs. We're either going to keep holding the double leg raise. So we're going to have a go at the full locust, bringing the hands underneath us and using that as a bit more leverage to lift the legs higher. So if anyone does fancy, we're going to stay lying on our front. We're going to lift the hips up in the air and then slide the arms underneath us and then try and press down into the hands. I'm going to show you what that looks like. It looks like this underneath. So you might prefer a different hand position than mine. I like to bring my make fist and push in like that, but I know some people don't find that comfortable for the thumbs and wrists, so you might want to do a different hand option. So you basically interlace the hands underneath you, wiggle your shoulders underneath you, and then we can push the arms into the floor. So you can inhale, prepare, exhale, push the arms down, and then the legs may lift a little bit higher then by using the arms to help. Again, just check the back's okay. So we can do a few of them. Inhale, prepare, exhale, we can have a go at lifting. And then inhale, we can rest. Otherwise, I find that's a lot of effort to do that. So make sure the arm's okay, forearms, that's it. Okay, nice. So just give the hips a rock when we're ready to move on from those. Keep going over, still want to go a little bit more. Okay, and then we'll bring the hands back into the shoulders then, ready for a push-up. So either pushing onto your knees or straight up into plank. And again, lifting the hips, lengthen the spine in downward facing dog. Okay, so inhale, lift high onto the tiptoes. And then exhale, let's bend the knees and start to sit the hips back towards the heels. Just check your shoulders, you're okay with this, the knees, like a down dog squat. And then inhale, lift the hips back up again. So you're going to exhale, sit down, hips towards the heels. Make sure shoulders, elbows like this, and then inhale, lift back into downward facing dog. So 2 more there. Exhale, bend the knees, sit back. Inhale, down dog. And then last one, then exhale, squat down, look forward, walk step if you want to hop, but just move to the front of the mat. Okay, when you get to the front of the mat, hands on shins, inhale, lift yourself up halfway. And then exhale, let's fold forward and in towards the legs. Any arm positions, if you want to hug the elbows or hug behind the legs, and try and spread the weight through the feet nicely. You can rock, pedal out the legs, sway side to side, release the neck, shoulders, head. And then we'll bend the knees and take a breath in. We're going to use our legs to roll up. Just pull with the lower back. Exhale, slowly push into the floor and roll all the way up to stand. When you get to the top, we'll bend the elbows, inhale, stretch the arms upwards towards the ceiling. If you want to take a back bend, otherwise just stay neutral. And then exhale, bring your palms together in front. Okay, so as inhale, let's reach the hands out in front of you. Just in, and then exhale, we're going to start to sit down. So start to bend the knees, like you're skiing, let the knees come past the toes. I find a nice stretch in my calves there. It gets to a point then where I might get meat compression in the front of the ankles, my heels have to lift. You may be able to keep your heels down, but just come onto your tiptoes if you need to come all the way down. Make sure the knees are okay and ankles, everything with there. So inhale there, exhale, let's push down into either the heels or the toes. And on where we are, just slowly come back up. Again, if it feels too much for the knees or anything, we'll just stay up. Inhale, let's do 3 more. Exhale, slowly squat down. Again, like an elevator. So really slowly keep bracing. Inhale, legs strong. And then exhale, keep bracing. Let's come back over. The shoulders are getting tired, you can always shake them off. Otherwise, so we can keep going. It's a couple more. So 2 more. Exhale as you squat down. Keep bracing. Work to balance. Inhale. And then exhale, let's push down, lift back, up. And then inhale, nice. And then we're staying down on this one, exhale, let's slowly come all the way. Okay, when we get to the bottom then, we'll bring the hands onto the floor and the knees up to the outside of the arms. Lift the hips up a little bit, so we're coming onto our tips. Maybe lift the hips, reach your chest forward, bend the elbows over the wrists, and we may lift the feet up into a crow there. Otherwise, stay with a little squat, or another option would be to hold a yogi squat and get a nice inner thigh stretch. We'll come to yogi squat after, so keep working crow, but when you're ready to move on, just in case we don't want to do crow, we can come here instead, or a tiptoe squat. That's it. Nice. That's the one. Okay, now we're going to try for peacock as well, I think. So let's bring ourselves into yogi squat. So yogi squat, another option if you don't want to do our peacock. And peacock pose is another arm balance where we're just on our hands like legs, but they're like the locust, kind of double leg raise. You can do this with bent legs, which is a little bit easier. And traditionally the fingers point towards the feet and they're round that way, but you might need to go different position with the hands. So it doesn't matter where the hands are, as long as it's comfortable for the shoulders and elbows, wrists and that. So I quite like the reverse position. So firstly, we're going to bring the knees onto the floor. So just come onto our tiptoes, bring the knees down and just untuck the toes. And you can come into wide leg child's pose. For anyone who doesn't want to do this, we can come into wide leg child's pose or a frog and just stretch the inner thighs and groin area a bit more. For those that do fancy it, we're just going to build up to it because we'll see how the wrists feel. Make sure that it's right. So hands then either reversed or outwards to a comfortable position for the wrists. And then we want to bend the elbows, so we want to reach your chest forward, so the elbows pretty much stay over the wrists. Like you do in crow, we reach forward, like you do in this one, you bend the elbows and you reach your chest forward. So the weight is going to be on the back of the elbows, but we're going to be pressing the elbows into our stomach. So the elbows squeeze in, and then we're on our hands there in the position. So from there, we can either keep the feet together and then have a go at lifting the legs into a little peacock, or we can straighten from the side, or we can have a go at reaching the chest forwards and straightening the legs like the double leg raise we did earlier. It's a crazy pose. If their elbows if they can't come in as well, some people it's impossible for certain bodies as well. So don't worry if you can't get the elbows in. It doesn't matter, we do crow instead. Okay, when we're ready to move on from that, we're going to come into frog or wide leg child. So keep going with that if we want to keep going. Otherwise, we'll come into feet together, knees open, or we can separate the feet and flex them and just open the knees out. So we get a good inner thigh or groin stretch, wherever that is for you. And just relax there. So either feet together or feet apart. I'm going to just hold still. And your body can be like a plank. So instead of letting your middle just rest and collapse, you might want to support your middle and spine. If your chest is on the floor though, then it's kind of supported by the floor. So just keep trying to relax and open the relax the inner thighs. We're almost there. So as time's passed, you may have opened, you might want to go a little bit deeper. You can play around with the hip position as well, so play around with bringing the hips slightly forward or back, depending on where they are, to find more of a stretch. And just check what you're feeling. If you're not feeling tension, you're feeling compression, we don't want to try and force past that because that's that end range there. So you might need to just keep out of it a little bit. Or if there's tension, we can keep working it and do more in time, go deeper. Okay, so slowly come out of this posture any way that you can, because it's quite an intense one. Slowly. And then we can either come back through a down dog or through a tiptoe squat anyway, or just cross the leg behind you, depending on where you are on the mat. We can end up sitting down or lying down. So any way that you are, nice vinyasa there as well, that might feel nice for the hips, lovely. Okay, and then once you're ready to move on, we just lie on our backs and give the legs a rock. So we'll slide the feet in towards our bums, about hip width, just take a breath in. And on the exhale, let's press your lower back into the floor and then lift up into a shoulder bridge. So just opening the front a little bit more. So we did wild thing, which is that like a one-handed almost wheel. Nice back, we prep the back nice, the shoulders hopefully nice and open. If anyone doesn't like, there's quite a lot of shoulder flexion, and if you don't like it, or your lower back doesn't like big back bends, then I just stay here or rest anytime. If anyone does fancy pressing up into a wheel, it feels good for you, then you can always bring the hands behind you. Again, find a comfortable position for the wrists. And then either pressing up a little bit and looking behind, or taking your time to lift up into a full up bow. But again, remember, just do what feels nice for your body. So it's interlaced hand bridge or any shoulder bridge that you want to do. Otherwise. Okay, and then when you're ready to move on from bridge, we'll undo the hands if you've hooked them, just slowly lower yourself onto your back, and then again, just let your body rest there. So we're coming into our final posture before Shavasana. So if there is something you particularly want to do, it might be a more inner thigh stretching, it might be a happy baby, you might want to do an inversion and roll into a plough, or maybe into a shoulder. So I'll talk you through a posture now, but just feel free, you might want to do a spinal twist. So I'm going to talk you through a shoulder stand or plough, but again, everyone's bodies are different. Some of us may not like this one. You might need blankets underneath you as well, or a prop, so that you don't want to be digging into the back of the neck. So feel free, you might want to do a headstand or something different. So feel free to do whatever your body fancies. Otherwise, the first option for the shoulder stand would just be to hug the legs in, and that might give you a bit of a stretch in the glutes or hamstrings there. And the next would be to start to straighten the legs upwards, so we're a little bit more inverted, kind of. And then again, you can draw the legs in, you might get a nice stretch in the back of the legs. The next option, if you want to be a bit more inverted, would be to elevate the hips on a bolster or on a block or something like that. And that would give you a little bit more. If you then want to go further, we'll be using our hands to support us. So we might take a bit of momentum to lift your lower back up off the floor. So you might want to rock, push into the forearms, or push the elbows, sorry, not the forearms, push the elbows down into the floor and then catch your back with the hands. And now wiggle the elbows more and more in. The hips can stay quite low, so there's not really much weight, and there's not much of a stretch as my hips are quite more to the floor. You can keep the knees quite bent, and then in time you can play around with bringing the feet more behind or hips more over, and that will pull more and you'll feel more in the upper back. If anyone doesn't feel that's right, just come straight back down. If that's really comfortable, then we can keep the hips pretty much in the same position, but then in relation to the shoulders, but start to lift the legs more towards the ceiling, and the legs then are nice and strong, the core's engaged. Otherwise, just stay with a low option, or bolster or block underneath there. So any posture otherwise that you feel like finishing with. So we've done quite a lot of stretches for the front body. This might be quite nice now to tuck the chin, stretch the back of the body as well. So kind of, we normally counter pose fish with shoulder stand, but we use shoulder stands today as a counter for all of the locusts and that we've been doing throughout. So as soon as you're ready to rest then, you might want to just take a moment with your knees bent on your back. You may be just completely ready to come into Shavasana. So you may want to do another 10 vinyasas or something else. So just see what your body fancies. And then when you are ready, run out of time, we're going to be resting our bodies completely. So just keep moving, feel free to keep moving. So keep moving, but when we do feel like Shavasana, we'll just lie like we did on our front, but we can bring our palms upwards and away from our bodies, our feet away from us. I want to give your body a little shake, or muscles can tense and relax a few times. You can lift the head, replace it, or lengthen the neck out on the floor there, so everything just wants to rest and melt down. We could do the body scan that we did, but this time we can we're kind of upside down, so just noticing how everything's feeling the other way now. So how are the heels feeling, the lower legs, and the knees, the thighs, hips, and all the way up the spine, shoulders, and down the arms. Back up the arms, then the back of the neck, the back of the head, forehead, face nice and relaxed, the whole body just nice and relaxed. And notice how you're breathing. Know where you're breathing, where there's movement. How you feel all together. Noticing where your mind wanders if it wanders, how calm or how busy it is. If it is quite busy, if you want to use a breathing technique to help your mind to stay more still, we can count 4 as we inhale and 4 as we exhale, and so you can just keep that count going. Every time your mind wanders, just pull it back to that count again. Otherwise, just lie here and just observe and watch your thoughts like passing cars. You're going to stay for a few more minutes. So just and for the last few moments then we're going to set our minds to focus on some really feel-good thoughts. So if you want to focus on one thing that you feel really grateful for in your life, absolutely anything, see if you can just focus on that and get feelings of gratitude for that. And we can start making little movements again. So you can wiggle our fingers, our toes, we can maybe rock our feet. Maybe you curl the knees to your chest or take a full body stretch, whichever feels better. And then we'll just roll over, either onto one hand side to come to sit, or if you want to just rock and roll straight up. We'll end up, just taking your time, we'll end up seated in any position that's comfortable. Okay, and then we'll just take a breath in then and stretch upwards. And then exhale, bring the palms together in front. And thank you so much guys for joining this morning.